What's up, guys? Tyler back on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel, and I got my Week 5 predictions for you. A big week of college football as there is 5 ranked matchups in that top 25. A lot of teams should be on upset alert and a lot of really good games starting out on Friday night. Miami and Virginia Tech, a matchup that I thought was going to be way better in the preseason, turning out to be, well, now kind of a stinger as Miami is a legitimate top 10 team. And don't forget about Washington and Rutgers. Rutgers' story, I guess, kind of one of the story teams in the Big Ten, as they didn't really, their expectations really weren't that high, and they're 3-0 now after a big win, ironically enough, at Virginia Tech last week. They had that lead for a majority of the game, lost it, then went down for a game-winning drive. But yeah, a big week of college football. As always, we'll start it out with my upset pick. This is going to surprise some people, including myself, because I am very high on Utah. I think Utah is, in fact, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Big 12, but that's with Cam Rising. And I'm hearing he's going to be yet again a game-time decision, which, if you've been listening to the news with Cam Rising over the past 2 seasons, game-time decisions, he's been pretty much a game-time decision every week. So I'm worried that he's not going to play in this game, and as well as they're just coming off of a huge road win at Oklahoma State. Arizona just had a bye, and I love Noah Fafita to bounce back in this game. McMillan, probably the best wide receiver in college football, a matchup nightmare, and I don't think Micah Bernard is going to do enough for this win for the Utes. This has a big recipe for an upset as Arizona can score quick, fast, in a hurry. I think there'll be a little bit too much for the Utes and go on the road and win. And this spread started out at 12.5. It's already dipped down to 9 total points. Don't be surprised if the total is under a touchdown by game time. I like Arizona to cover at least. I'm going to go with a big upset in the Big 12. This would be huge. Give me the Wildcats taking down Utah. And up next, we'll stay in the Big 12. UCF taking on Colorado. Colorado is a 14-point road underdog. That's the biggest spread thus far this season for Colorado. They are at UCF, who just had a bye week after an emotional come-from-behind win against TCU. Came down from 18 points and won that game. That's Gus Malzahn for you. But Gus Malzahn would also lose this game if we're talking about typical Gus Malzahn, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Colorado just basically upset Baylor. They got outplayed for most of that game and got that Hail Mary catch by Weaver and went down and scored a touchdown, and Baylor fumbled. Typical Baylor fumbling the game away. Aranda is probably pretty much toast for Baylor, but I think it's going to be a really close game, higher offensive. I know I've been kind of ragging on Colorado's offense this year because, once again, I'm pretty much beating on a dead horse. I hated the firing of Sean Lewis after that. I believe he got fired after the Stanford game in which they scored 43 points. They were up 29-8, but still, they have yet to score, and they literally have yet to score 40 points since they fired Sean Lewis. Their offense hasn't been as good, and I think their offense is going to be able to score on UCF, but Central Florida is well-rested, and I think there'll be a little bit too much, especially in that run game. Hopefully KJ Jefferson can start to get it going, but give me Central Florida. Up next, we have Wisconsin taking on number 13th ranked Southern Cal, just coming off a huge road loss. Michigan gave up that 90-yard drive, all runs. I've never seen that in my life, but shout out to Lincoln Riley. He's able to do it. And Miller Moss played, I thought, actually okay. Offensive line was getting pushed around by a really, really, really good, if not elite defensive line, and they got pushed around on the line of scrimmage. Wisconsin's going to be able to match USC on the line of scrimmage. I just don't. Losing Tyler Van Dyke is huge. They have Locke, who has a lot of experience, but come on, he's the backup for a reason. Looked terrible against Alabama. I get it, Alabama has a top 5 defense, but come on. I think Southern Cal will bounce back, but I like Wisconsin to cover here. I could legitimately see Luke Fickell going into Southern Cal and upsetting USC here, but I'm going to stick with my guns and ride with USC. I've been doing it all season long pretty much. So give me Southern Cal. Next up, the saga of terrible quarterback play continues to the plains here as Auburn takes on 21st ranked Oklahoma, who in my opinion shouldn't even be ranked. Got lucky to only lose to Tennessee by 10. Jackson Arnold benched after his terrible performance at 1.3 QBR. Peyton Thorne had like a 1 point something QBR against Cal. He got benched, came back against Arkansas and had a decent finish, but still, both these quarterbacks are terrible. Peyton Thorne, I guess, is going to be taking on the true freshman, Hawkins, for Oklahoma, who came in. This is just going to be a disgusting, low-scoring game amongst two really, really, really good defensive teams. Honestly, borderline elite, especially for Oklahoma. They got a real good front seven, led by Stuntsman there. But, Auburn has lost two flukish-style games in which they've thrown 5 interceptions in both games, total of 11 turnovers. I've never heard of that in my life. At home, too. It's just nuts and crazy. I think Auburn's actually going to bounce back here. I do expect it to be a lower-scoring game, and believe it or not, I'm going to trust Peyton Thorne a little bit more than that true freshman. Give me the Tigers over the Sooners. And officially, the last time these two teams will be playing at AT&T Stadium or Jerry's World there, as number 24th ranked Texas A&M takes on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Let's just be honest here. Both these teams should be 4-0. I'm going to be honest with you. Texas A&M should have beaten Notre Dame. They had that game towards the fourth quarter. And if Le'Veon Moss pulls that ball toward the first down, they might go down and win the game 16-13 at home in Kyle Aggie Field and take down Notre Dame. And for Arkansas, they outplayed Oklahoma State and did everything they could to lose that game. So both these teams are 3-1 coming off of close wins last week. Now Texas A&M played Bowling Green. I kind of thought that was going to be a closer game. Bowling Green's a really good team. Bowling Green is 5 plays away from being undefeated, believe it or not. 2 against Penn State and maybe 3 to 4 against Texas A&M. But yeah, the Aggies come in as a couple points favorite, and I think they should win this game. They have the much better defense, and their offensive line has played so much better than what some people even thought after losing their starting center, who was one of their most talented offensive linemen. But Mike Elko has a really good team here, and they're probably as good as both these teams are probably as good as what I thought in the preseason. Honestly, I had Texas A&M 9-3 and Arkansas 7-5, and a lot of people gave me grief for having Arkansas and A&M at that. I think both those teams could finish around 8 wins. They both look around 7 to 8 win teams, to be honest. Maybe A&M going 9-3. But I think the Aggies win this game. Marcel Reed and Colin Klein. Really, Colin Klein's offensive decisiveness in this rush attack. If Le'Veon Moss can not fumble away the game like he did against Bowling Green, it'll probably be okay. And honestly, if he reaches that ball against Notre Dame, I'm telling you, this team should be 4-0. But anyways, I think Le'Veon Moss will get it going. Amari Daniels and even E.J. Smith, as well as Marcel Reed in that run-pass option, are really option play. It's going to be a little bit too much for the Arkansas Razorback defense. Their defense is just not any good. Bailed out against Auburn, for being completely honest here, with terrible quarterback play. But Taylor Green is just so fun to watch. This is going to be a good game, but I like A&M here to win a 31-24 type of deal. Ohio State taking on Michigan State at Sparty. Michigan State's coming off of a terrible loss to Boston College. I guess it's not really a terrible loss, but just the way they lost. 4 interceptions thrown by Aiden Chili's, who has a lot of talent and potential. Just not going to be this year. Now, I will say this. Michigan State's line of scrimmage play is a lot better than what it has been, and that's why I think this is going to be a closer game. Now, Judkins and Travion Henderson are just really mainly Judkins. There's going to be a little bit too much here. I think Ohio State's actually going to be in a dogfight for most of this game, but they'll start to pull away in the fourth quarter. Next, it's 15th ranked Louisville, who I think is overrated, to be honest, taking on Notre Dame, 16th ranked. You could kind of also say the same thing with Notre Dame, pulling away late against Miami of Ohio. What is up with Notre Dame and these MAC teams? I just don't get it. Miami of Ohio, okay, they were preseason top 2 in the MAC. Fine, whatever. Northern Illinois just lost at home to Buffalo, so give me a freaking break about that. That's a terrible loss. It will always be a terrible loss. And there's only been 6 double-digit underdogs that have outright won. And anyways, Notre Dame comes in as a 5-point favorite. I think it's going to be a disgusting lower scoring game. Notre Dame will not be overmatched on the line of scrimmage this game. They were very tired last year when Plummer and really Hawkins, I believe that's who the starting running back was for Louisville, just ran all over them in the fourth quarter. I don't see that happening. I think Notre Dame's going to get the win here. I think they're going to kind of control the line of scrimmage and win a very low-scoring 20-10 type of deal at home. Next, Oklahoma State on the road to take on Kansas State. Top 25 matchup here. This is a noon game. This is probably one of the best games of the day, to be honest. Most evenly matched game. Now, Ollie Gordon has not done anything this year. DJ Giddens has had a pretty good season thus far. I don't know what the heck happened against BYU. I mean, yeah, Kansas State played really, really bad on the road, but that was a flukish performance. I think BYU is just like a 6 or 7 win team. That was just a weird game for Kansas State. I think they'll bounce back at home here. It's going to be a good game, though. Hopefully, Ollie Gordon can start to get something going, but I think DJ Giddens is going to be too much for Oklahoma State. They are terrible at the line of scrimmage this year. It doesn't make any sense. One of the most veteran teams in college football, and they're getting ran over by everyone. Next up, 19th ranked Illinois, who's been a storybook team this year, undefeated, 4-0, went on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska, upset Nebraska in overtime, outplayed them in that fourth quarter. And then they're taking on 9th ranked Penn State, who's kind of been around the 7th through 9th ranked all year long. Penn State, they really haven't been tested since that Bowling Green game. Well, they obviously played Kent State and had a bye week. But this is going to be a huge test here as, to be honest with you, Illinois by far has the best line of scrimmage up to this point for Penn State. They're against them. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a lower scoring game like it always usually is. And I believe this is going to be a whiteout, though, for Penn State. Look at Penn State trying to stack up those wins there, if you understand that. But I think Drew Aller's a very good quarterback. He looks a lot better than what he was last year. And I like the Nittany Lions to win this game. Katron Allen, Noah Singleton, they're also the X factors at running back as well. Give me Penn State to win at home in a close one. And the game everyone's been waiting for, the biggest game thus far of the season, 2nd-ranked Georgia taking on 4th-ranked Alabama. Both teams coming off of a bye week, which is huge. I would definitely say more for Georgia. I was hearing, though, Malachi Moore, though, for Alabama was banged up, but I guess that's just not true because he's not even on the injured list for the Crimson Tide. But good news, though, for UGA is I'm hearing Michael Williams might be able to get to play, and Warren Brinson is pretty much probable. You know, on that defensive line, Georgia needs all that depth they can handle because they've been pretty thin at defensive line to start the season off. But I've already kind of made this pick. If you listen to me on the SEC football channel at the Voice of College Football, you know where I'm going here, and you can probably already see it on the score. I'm going to ride my Georgia Bulldogs here. Nick Saban is a huge loss for Alabama. It's the biggest loss maybe of all time, to be honest, for the Crimson, or at least in my lifetime. That was the biggest loss. You lost the GOAT. I mean, what else is there to really say? He has kind of been that issue for UGA, not really Alabama themselves. It's more of Nick Saban and the dynasty. No offense to Alabama fans, which I don't know why you would take offense to that. But anyways, you bring in another winner, though, Kalen DeBoer, and he inherited a really good team, a team that beat Georgia last year, but you also lost a huge key piece to that wide receiving core in Isaiah Bond. And if you watch that game, he played pretty well against UGA last year. And Georgia's defensive and offensive line played pretty bad in that game. Trust me, guys, they've had this game circled all year long. This is the biggest game of Georgia's season. And I trust Kirby Smart to go on the road in Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. It's not an upset either. Georgia is a 2-point favorite. Now, the line is teetering towards 1 point. And in fact, it might actually be at 1.5 right now. And probably by kickoff, I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama's favorite. But Georgia has had this game circled. Trust me. Kirby Smart has had this game circled. Trust me. And a lot of people are telling you how bad Georgia is because they got pushed around on the line of scrimmage against Kentucky, which was bad. That was bad. But if you think that Georgia team's going to show up in Tuscaloosa for prime time, you're drunk. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Georgia will give everything they have in this game. Alabama ended Georgia's season last year. It's no more Nick Saban. I expect Georgia to go in this game and win this game. That's just what I'm expecting. You can call me a biased fan, but I've been saying this even last year. Georgia could even be slightly better than what they were last year, and that's debatable, but still, losing Brock Bowers is a huge loss, whatever. But with Mike Bobo in his second year, I'm expecting Georgia's offense to be better, and it has actually yet to really prove that, but I think Georgia's defensive line will be fine. I really hope Mykal Williams will play in this game, but Tyron Ingram Dawkins has been very good this year. Adding in Warren Brinson, who's been injured. Clark has been okay. Nasir Stackhouse is as good as what he's going to be. That's why I really wanted Warren Brinson to be able to come in this game. But watch out for number 3 and C.J. Allen, a very highly explosive player at linebacker. He's starting to finally understand the concepts defensively, and as well as Jalen Walker on the edge there, who I hope has a huge impact defensively. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, but I'm going to take the Dogs 27-20 on the road. So, guys, this has been my predictions for Week 5. Let me know what you guys think, and make sure to like and subscribe. And just a reminder, we always have our game day live stream on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Come yell at me or come praise me. Do whatever you can, but thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.